It.
Hello, everyone! Blue Star Saber here, once again to discuss another My Hero Academia chapter with Mangareader and Luckchi7. Say hello, guys.
Hi, guys.
I'm currently having some oatmeal, but if anybody is pissed with the outcome of this fight, well, y'all know who to point to. I don't even have to say it at this point.
Oh, of course, blame me. Of course, but yeah. Okay, but let's just have Luckchi7. If you are eating oatmeal, mute yourself when you're about to do like noisy crunches and all that stuff. So yeah.
Don't worry, I'm not.
Eating oatmeal.
It's almost finished at this point, but
all right, fair enough. But yeah, or is this some sort of like joke I do not get about oatmeal? But anyway, well, let's see. I just try and figure out how I can get you both on for another chapter again discussion, because you both had bits and pieces of talking about this fight. But it seems like I figured I'd try and get you both on for this for what appears to be the conclusion of the fight now with this chapter. But anyway, given what happened last chapter with Shigaraki grabbing on to like Stars and Stripes, we're about to find out in this chapter will tell us what is the outcome of this fight and all that, and whether or not Shigaraki successfully steals the quirk or not. But anyway, let's see quick summaries. Now on to like the actual chapter. We see I believe Shigaraki still grabbing on to Stars and Stripes, but let's see. Okay, it says some talking in the background I'm hearing.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay, but anyway. But from the way the speech bubbles are going, I think it's implied that it's currently all for one set in his mind and all that stuff, because it's apparently what's setting off on edge is nothing else like the thought of New Order and One for All colliding, as we see this nice double with this nice page of Stars and Stripes and Midoriya posing together with a fist pump ready fritzy thing. It's like a team up many people want to see happen. But we'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah. So anyway, we get a bit of a thought bubble about how he apparently put a safety commission. He put a stop to like the safety mission, trying to get by using his overseas associates to stir up trouble across other countries around the world in order to delay like foreign heroes to arrive in Japan and all that stuff. So in order for him to perfect the body, to perfect Shigaraki's body, and then steal one for all before challenging, New Order or Stars and Stripes. So it seems like the plan was initially supposed to be, All for One was aiming for Midoriya first before challenging Stars and Stripes. Which, to be fair, I suppose you could say makes a bit more sense, given the fact that Stars and Stripes is probably a bit, at this current time, a bit more stronger hero, and one that's more fully developed compared to like whose quirk is probably more fully developed than compared to more Midoriya's and all that stuff. So yeah, not to mention global heroes would probably be a bit more, in terms of numbers, would be more threat than just dealing with the Japanese heroes first. Let's see. But yeah, as we get more thoughts about how One for All, was the one power that could foil All for One's designs. Thinking that, that once he had it and all that stuff, all the other quirks, including New Order, would be no match for him and all that stuff. No, granted, due to the fact that Stars and Stripes unsanctioned visit due to her free spirit and all that stuff, because America. Joking.
Always the one to target other countries, huh?
I'm joking. A little okay. I mean, come on, you guys ever go at me for being English or British?
Do we though?
Okay, to be fair, that's probably more James, but
I was about to say.
But yeah. Let's see.
Careful now, he could be listening in on this.
Yes. But no, we all like each other. So I doubt
Listening. Yeah.
we'll probably be fine. But anyway. As Shigaraki's grabbing on to Stars and Stripes, with All for One still thinking about how, due to Stars and Stripes arriving, if she met Midoriya, that's the worst possible scenario for him to imagine. By having the reason why he brought Shigaraki out to face Stars and Stripes, even though it was a bit of a gamble because it was incomplete, is he said he had no choice to make it. But in the end, he shouts about how he has won this roll of dice USA. So Shigaraki saying, or maybe one full saying, I beat ya, USA. I've taken Stars and Stripes quirk. Well, just before her quirk is being stolen, Stars and Stripes gave herself a new rule saying Kathleen Bate won't decay, preventing her from being being destroyed by Shigaraki's quirk. But anyway, one of Stars and Stripes' pilots, possibly Wedge, calls her, realizing that she took the hit for his sake, he calls her a freaking idiot, well, a total idiot, because it's because he thinks he should have sacrificed him to take out Shigaraki. With Stars and Stripes realizing that she's done so it exceeds the cap for her endurance boost and all that stuff. I believe either Shigaraki or All for One. It's very hard to tell these days, but saying that they've stolen her quirk and all that stuff, and has to agree with them about the whole idiot thing. Anyway, as he thinks about how her body is now decaying the moment he absorbed her quirk and all that stuff. As it requires as New Order requires verbal commands to protect that, in order to protect him, and with that gone, she can't really do it. Anyway, Shigaraki ends up, I think, thinking, it seems that we get a bit of a Shigaraki flashback where we see him reading some comic books of a hero called Captain Hero. Wow, that's corny.
I want to say that it's more the original, him talking to his, it's One for All talking. Yeah, All for One talking to about his brother.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too.
Now that I think about look at it again, it is it is All for One's brother, Yorichi. Sorry, now I'm reading the text properly.
Yeah.
As he's saying, this is where it truly begins to his brother. The stories I read with you that day, those comics.
Yeah.
He's as he thinks, because as we recall, the brother mentioned how you thought that you didn't realize that you thought that he didn't realize there was more to the story. Let's see. So as he think to himself, I knew how the story would go, so he chose to stop reading, which if you ask me, you must always go up to the ending, folks. Okay, granted, if the ending's terrible, I can see why you want to stop at some point.
I was about to say, I'm prime examples of which stories have the best ending.
But yeah, but at the very least, but at the very least, if you're reading it ongoing, at least stick to the end until then decide whether or not there's a point you can stop before. But yeah. Anyway, as All for One in Shigaraki's body is about to use New Order, he's about to give a command saying the air is. However, inside of All for One and Shigaraki, we see Stars and Stripes. Smiling and all that stuff. It's sort of figure inside the quirk and all that stuff, staring directly at them, and we start to see Shigaraki's body start to explode a bit, if you will.
Yeah.
As the pilots commented about how he's bursting apart. with like possibly I suppose All for One going like what's going on with like is like all the quirks he's stored up and all that stuff, and apparently they're exploding out. Oops, that's my alarm.
Yep.
Let's see.
I can safely say that art is truly an explosion.
Let's see. With pilots, one of the pilots realizing what Star has done, with her thinking to herself that there was no time to blow him up with your plane, so she set up a new rule at the last second. So it seems like even if she did try to sacrifice her pilot, it wouldn't have worked anyway. So she, as we see from her now smiling cracked face, she gave a new order saying that new order will revolt against other quirks. As we see a silhouette of her inside pulling quirks and ripping them apart from Shigaraki and All for One. With All for One, being angry, shouting out, and Stars and Stripes' real name, Kathleen Bate, I believe. With I think saying, Stars and Stripes thinking that even though the worst case scenario would be her quirk being stolen outright without any of the rules added. So as he would have liked to protect her body against Shigaraki as an added bonus, but she can't. It's due to the fact that her body's decaying. So since there's no chance of saving her, she decides that okay, since I can't survive, stopping this global menace that is in exchange for her life is a small price to pay for the larger cause of heroism, if you will. So yeah, a self-sacrifice. Anyway, as she starts to think to like all those pilots to like and I believe Admiral Agbar, where she calls them her bros, if you will, and thanks them for everything they've done. With I think one of the pilots, possibly Wedge, saying "Star." Anyway, as All for One thinking about the backlash against his other quirks is like a cannibalistic invader, and it's a dire situation for him. As All for One thinks about how he can only steal quirks or bestow them to others, but it turns out he can't just dispose of them. So it seems like we've learned a bit more of like All for One's quirk with this chapter. As he now realizes he's in a desperate situation, he must give the quirk to someone else, possibly one of the pilots. However, the pilots are letting up with their laser fire. Not willing to let Star's sacrifice go in vain and all that stuff. As he's beginning to, as they comment how as they're taking out the scumbag, and apparently that's working as he's beginning to fall apart. So they keep firing. However, let's see. Anyway, as interesting enough, we learn that during this time, All for One's Reflect quirk has been destroyed.
Oh yeah.
Due to like Stars and Stripes' like inside quirk and all that stuff. Anyway, as we see Stars and Stripes start to fade away, she thinks back to All Might, saying, because he saved her back then. She got to indulge in this lovely dream of hers. As we see a flashback of All Might, kneeling down to like, Stars and Stripes when she was a young girl. But as we see her fade away, we can still see she's smiling like a true hero and all that stuff. With one of the pilots just looking on, with her thinking about, All Might, this is me returning the favor. Anyway, as the All for One Shigaraki, it goes, curses, quickly, damn it. With one last, shout, All for One says, damn you, Spectre of All Might! Towards, like, the quirk of, like, Stars and Stripes inside of him, as planes continue to fire, ending the chapter. So, blimey. So let's see. Let's get into the discussion of the thoughts and reactions to some of the stuff that's happened here. Who wants to go first?
Well, in the great words of Martin Luther King, fuck this shit.
I take it you refer to Martin Luther King in the Boondocks.
Obviously,
the Boondock Saints.
No, I'm pretty sure he's mentioned that once in his life. I'm pretty sure.
Well, no, it's just never heard of him say that before. So I'm just wondering, is this a Boondocks parody?
I don't know, but I'm guessing he's probably said it once. Anyway, that's a whole different topic.
Fair enough.
No, I'll say this. I kind of called it when it came to the reactions from people because I was like, all right, if this goes one way or the other way, someone's gonna get pissed. And what do you know?
I will admit, I've seen quite a few reactions. On one hand, I've seen the expected outrage of like, oh, you've introduced this new character only to kill her off and all that stuff. It feels like a waste. While others are praising, let's see, at least the way might not entirely be happy about it, but are praising the way of how Koei has managed to, subvert their expectations, if you will.
More or less, but yeah.
But yeah. So that's from what I can see. Which I must admit, I feel like, okay, Stars and Stripes had to go out and all that stuff. I think like this is probably like the best way to do it in a sense where she gets killed, but she has one last trick up her sleeve to like damage All for One / Shigaraki. Let's see, because many people were getting worried about Shigaraki becoming too OP and all that stuff. Well,
yeah, I mean, if you want my honest opinion, I think what she was able to do in essentially nerfing Shigaraki, I think that's the one outcome from this side of the thing is actually kind of interesting. It's like, all right, so you introduce a new character and then you kill him off, but the upside of it is now you've kind of put Shigaraki and Deku on almost even playing fields. I'll say almost even playing fields.
In many ways, it kind of like I thought was expecting with like Mike Guy with like not when it came to like Madara, his 8 gates doesn't defeat Madara, but weakens him enough to help Naruto and Team 7 to take him out.
That didn't happen. What are you talking about?
I know, right?
That's what I was expecting, but it didn't happen, sadly.
Well, no, because Kid Jesus came in and just tapped him on the heart and said, "Nope, you're staying alive."
Also, Madara being replaced by Kaguya.
Like Zetsu, just exploding from the inside. Yeah.
But anyway, I do find it interesting. One thing I find interesting about this chapter is that All for One was originally planning to take Midoriya and steal One for All first before taking on New Order.
But doesn't that I was thinking about that, but doesn't that kind of contradict what was set up like in the beginning of this arc where he was technically after New Order?
Well, let's see. I
wouldn't know. I'd have to reread it.
I recall when he was talking to Spinner, first was escape to the island. Then second stage was steal like All for One. And then he said he had a planned third stage, which he didn't go into details. So in many ways, you could technically say that he was still planning on stealing All for One first, but due to like Stars and Stripes arriving, he's had to change plans a bit. And he saw a perfect opportunity to disrupt the global heroes and all that stuff, if you will. So I think that's what I'm getting at least. I could be misremembering. I could be misremembering wrong, but I do know that. But I do remember at least stage 1 and stage 2 was escape to like an island, then steal All for What? Let's see, One for All, and then some sort of stage 3 plan, which involved Spinner at least, I think.
This was chapter 329, right? Let me see.
Thinks.
Yeah, it's 329. I'm looking back at it right now.
Mm-hmm.
She's had friends all over the world. Yada yada yada.
But yeah, I do find. Let's see. But yeah, let's see. But yeah, I do find it interesting that let's see, that the original plan was to, target All for One before going after New Order, but had to change due to Stars and Stripes' free spirit personality, Ritzy defying sanctions and heading straight to America as soon as she could. I mean, from America to Japan as soon as she could. Sorry.
Oh, we're going from America to America? Damn!
But technically, you're like 50 separate states, so technically you can go from America to America.
Yeah.
Well, from a technicality stance, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not technical. Those are states. Those aren't country to country.
Yeah, right?
But technically, those states could technically be considered, let's see, 50 smaller countries.
Only if we were to recede from a country, yes.
Yes. You're absolutely right about that.
But yeah.
We're not Canada, where we have provinces, which would still be different. It's not one. It's still all one country.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now, if we were talking South America, where there's Peru, Brazil, yes, there is all one. Even though it's one continent,
I feel like
different countries.
I feel like I'm offending you Americans a lot tonight.
You're not offending me anything. I just want to pinpoint that you're being stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
All right. Sorry. Clearly,
Get out of here, Britain. We don't need you.
Hey. Let's see. We founded your damn country.
We founded your damn country. No, that would be the Spanish.
Technically, okay,
there's no technicality there.
Okay.
There is no technicality there.
Okay. To be fair, you're the ones using our country's language.
Yes, we do use English. Yes, we've botched up that considered English.
Mm-hmm.
It's our own form of English, but again, that's a whole different topic.
But yeah, anyway, let's stop being insensitive to each other's countries now.
I dare not have this conversation with you.
No, I don't have this conversation with you either. Hello, trusted child.
Oh boy, I'm gonna hear the end.
Tea time. It's tea time, chaps.
But yeah,
good on you, mate.
But yeah. So since Stars and Stripes, ended up coming earlier than he expected, despite the fact he tried to have the heroes from International delayed. All for One decided, I see a chance, and even if it's a gamble, I take it. And I do like how I do like that sort of mindset, I guess. All for One, given while things not go to plan, if there's an opportunity to advance his plans in different ways, he'll take it and all that stuff.
When you write yourself into a corner, always introduce an unexpected.
Yeah, right.
An unexpected force.
But yeah,
to solve your problems.
But yeah, I do like how I do find it interesting that we're starting to. I do find it interesting that we got to see Yoichi Shigaraki, I think. Is it that right? Or All for One's brother, younger brother, the original, user of One for All.
The original user, yeah.
I do like how we get to see, him as a young kid. Back when they were, when he was young and reading those comics and all that stuff that we got from, that first flashback and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
More or less.
So, Captain Hero, which apparently only lasted 7 volumes, but yeah.
Cancel. I'm joking.
Yeah. My Hero Academia. This is what we're going to do.
Well, I do kind of like anyway. Also, Stars and Stripes trying to do one last desperation of using her quirk just before it's stolen to not have her body decay, but it doesn't work due to the fact that, let's see, the All for One
stealing, yeah.
Let's see, yeah.
Stealing his quirk, or stealing her quirk on top of using decay, because you can use both quirks at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's such a very deadly combination.
Yep.
You lose your quirk and die.
Fun. No wonder he picked this character.
You're right.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, yeah, off topic because it's just the hell of it. But it's like Koei sure likes to draw hair for some reason.
He does. That's one thing I'm like, okay.
They're either always covering the eyes, or they're just super long, or it's like freaking everywhere.
Who knows? Maybe it's just easier to draw or something, or maybe he just really likes Stritzy Super Saiyan references.
I was gonna say maybe it's a Tarzan thing, but that works too.
Well, the brother was always basically blind because the hair was always down over his eyes. It's like, oh, I don't feel like drawing eyes on this guy. So
yeah. I mean, we've seen All for One's eyes like a couple times. I mean, we don't see it. Well, we don't see it present day, but like we've only seen it in flashback just once.
Yeah.
Right. Which flashback are you talking about?
Okay, not the flashback, but during the whole vestige sequence.
Okay.
Yeah, one of his vestige sequences.
As I recall, I've never seen All for One's eyes, I think. But then again, it's probably been a while since I've read. Let's see. I guess it might have been during the joint training festival arc. I mean, the joint training battle arc, maybe?
It's the first
is he
chapter of that arc.
Yeah, one.
Okay. It's been a while since I've read or watched that. It's the arc, so yeah. Anyway,
we haven't seen All for One's eyes.
Yeah, but anyway, I do like how. I do like how. Let's see. I do like how. Let's see. Of course, how Stars and Stripes has given like a new rule for like New Order just before it was being stolen and all that, saying that New Order will vote against quirks, and as a result, Shigaraki and All for One Shigaraki's body starts to combust and explode and all that stuff. Like Luckchi said earlier, art is an explosion.
Yes, thank you, Deidara.
Uh-huh. So, Margareader, how do you think about these kind of developments out of curiosity?
I'm trying to remember what we discussed. All of a matter of maybe was it a week ago? It doesn't even feel like it was a week ago. It felt like days ago. But
too fast or too slow, I should say.
No, it's not too fast. It's just I do remember because I was talking with him in the chapter when we were discussing chapter 332 that I was talking about unless she used her quirk to know exactly what his quirks were, which I guess you'd have to know by that point. It's like, hey, he can steal quirks.
Yeah, right.
But she assumed decay was going to happen, and apparently that's not the case. So, I don't know. Like I said, when you just not too long ago, recently, it's like when you write yourself into a corner, always introduce an outside force. So this is the outside force into fixing a problem as to, damn, Deku's not at 100%, and now I'm curious if in a week he's either going to reach that 100% or if this story is going to somehow end with him not being at 100%.
I think you're giving spoilers to the chapter that came out today. That's unofficial, Mangareader.
Well, okay.
Oh, shit. Oh, crap.
Okay, truth be told, it's not that big, technically, but...
But anyway, yeah. So anyway,
well, we'll just say that I'm a time traveler. But I am just curious into a fact that I mean that can still be a thing to be curious about, is whether or not But this is written into the corner that is
Yeah. So in other words, Koei decided to bring in America.
Yeah, bring in America.
Let's see.
No, I guess it's I guess the way to make it to where to have your character that you introduce have some purposeful meaning. I guess this is as good of outcome as you can have without her surviving. If you really wanted her to die.
True.
So, I guess the best news to come out of this is if going forward, apparently New Order will possibly not mean anything.
Yeah, like it essentially, because I remember when this thing was introduced, it was like, dang, she's overpowered, but
nope. It is still fairly overpowered. I mean, I was discussing last week that maybe the most stupid overpowered quirk is Shigaraki's regeneration, but that much I do remember talking about.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, again, this just goes to show that okay, New Order is still probably above that regeneration, but like, holy crap! If she can rewrite reality to the point where she can destroy other people's quirks from the inside, then what the hell is the flaw of this quirk other than two things and having to touch?
Let's see. I believe you listed regeneration and New Order.
I did originally put it ahead of it, but then I'm like, maybe it sounds a little dumb.
Yeah. I believe, let's see, among the other 5 OP quirks you mentioned was Shigaraki's Decay. Let's see, All for One and One for All.
Yeah, those 2 should be basically 1 and 2 anyway, depending on which way you want to look at it.
Essentially, yeah.
And I'm pretty certain Luckchi
They could be a duo.
I guess you could say, Luckchi would probably say that Eri-chan's quirk is probably also an OP broken one as well.
I mean, it is from a technicality standpoint, but because of Eri Rage, it's not.
Whose?
Eri.
Oh, Ares?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Now that she knows how to somewhat control it, it is pretty stupid OP.
Yeah.
It reverts things back to their normal state, so...
Anyway, I do like Gritzy, but wait a minute. When New Order was first introduced, people were like, oh my god, this is so broken, but throughout this fight, we've learned a bit more of the strengths and limits of this quirk.
There's clearly limitations. I mean, we learned that last week, that she can only reach a certain baseline.
Oh, true.
But,
yeah. And this week we've learned a way in which New Order can be used to counter the effects of having it stolen, which is like for the user to set up a rule that
it basically self-destructs on just self-destructs on whoever steals it. So
yeah.
What would have happened if he didn't steal it? Would she just have blown up herself?
Well, remember the quirk. Let's see.
I know the rule is that it revolts against other quirks, so I mean that would have to literally specifically be.
Yeah.
The only other thing that would have happened is if, say, he gave her a quirk, then maybe it would have revolted against her, but I don't know why.
That would probably be the case, but as we know, All for One would never have given her.
Yeah, given anyone a quirk unless it's purpose.
Yeah, they're like a follower or something.
Yeah.
So it's something like that, but yeah. But anyway, I do like how Stars and Stripes. Despite the fact that realizing that she couldn't take out Shigaraki with even if sacrificing her own comrade, try to set up rules to keep her alive and also try and self-destruct Shigaraki and damage him at the same time, if you will. So even though her quirk is stolen, she's found a way of to make sure if I'm going down, I'm going to make sure that you go down with me, if you will.
Right.
So it's that sort of situation. So I do like how she thinks like that, and I do like how she just thinks in some of her final moments. She's like thinking of her comrades from all the planes and that stuff. I do like how quick they are to figure out what she's planning and what they must do in order to make sure her sacrifice is not in vain as they try to, take out Shigaraki.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's interesting. But anyway, as we've learned quite a bit about New Order from this fight, we now have learned something a bit more about All for One and its maybe own limitations and weaknesses and all that stuff. Is that while he can just steal and bestow quirks to himself and to others, he cannot, dispose of them or destroy them, if you will.
Isn't that? Aren't you now doing what you did? What I was supposedly doing?
Yeah.
That wasn't this chapter.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like...
We're sprinkling in some 334 here, fellas.
Well, no, actually, it's talking what he says about here in the chat.
I know.
But,
he says he has to put it into one of her crewmates because he can't just dispose of it. But we know.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like. So in many ways, it's like a ticking time bomb inside him, if you will.
Of course. So wait, that is actually interesting that we learned that he can't just say, "Oh, I don't want this quirk anymore," instant delete. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, he has to give it away. So who knows? It may be a way on how All for One could be potentially defeated in the end, where he gets another quirk like New Order that will self-destruct with him inside him, and he doesn't have enough time to give it to someone else, and then boom, he dies.
God, it's setting up now more and more for possibly bittersweet ending at this rate. It's like, oh no.
Oh, with Deku and
yeah. I was talking to him last week. Also, it's like we still don't know who the second user's quirk is.
That's true.
And
you're right. I completely forgot about that.
And I was talking to him about a theory that I was reading is that there's some that the second user might have had a quirk that had a failsafe essentially. So he's gonna blow up both of them at the same time to end the cycle of whatever between the two quirks and the cycle.
Damn.
I do believe, Luckchi, you've also been going on about a potential fear that Midoriya will lose One for All in order to destroy a All for One and all that stuff.
Well, keep in mind, this was way before
any of this jazz was going on.
Yeah, that was just a theory I had. I was like, okay, I don't. And I've told you guys before, I don't think this would happen, but it's an option I could see happening to not only get rid of All for One, but at the same time it's also kind of getting rid of One for All because the whole yin and yang concept. But now that Mangareader mentions it, I guess that is a little bit more viable now, which.
It's a little ominous.
I kind of don't. Honestly speaking, I don't know how I feel about it as of right now. I really don't.
See, from what I understand, we know that James absolutely hates this theory.
Of course, who would like that theory? Because it's again, the whole idea was that Midoriya gets to finally live his dream to be the hero, and his biggest accomplishment is going to be ending a basically century-long struggle that isn't necessarily going to end the hero-villain. Unless you're really going to tell me that One for All is All for One is the so influential that once he's gone, no villain is ever going to rise up again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Thanks, Deku. Your one accomplishment in life to save everyone was to end a century bloodbath long. Yeah.
No, this is my thing.
No one would like that ending. He's got to somehow, yeah.
I'd say this. It depends on the execution. That's where it falls in line with me. If it sucks, then yeah.
I mean, look at how Bleach almost potentially ended with the Aizen struggle thing. People weren't necessarily happy that Ichigo lost his powers. Of course, we found out that it wasn't the
end, but...
Now, granted, I do recall Luckchi you thinking that could have also been a very good end point for a bittersweet moment for Bleach.
Yeah.
It could. Well, I think... See, if Bleach... I know it wouldn't be everyone's cup of tea, but it would have been the whole cycle of, Rukia gives him the powers and then can I get that send up for it?
He wasn't supposed to have the powers in the first place, and now that he's ended whatever it was for between the Soul Reapers, now that his job is truly accomplished, he can go back to his normal life.
Yeah, I mean, for Bleach's sense, I think it would have made more sense, but
it would have been weird though that he was the only one that didn't have any connection to spirits anymore, considering Chad and Orihime got to keep theirs.
That's true.
At least with Uryu, he had him all the time, and he was a Quincy.
Yeah.
But with Ichigo, knowing that Orihime and Chad can still see spirits, despite them being only capable of doing it after the fact that they were interacting with Ichigo for so long, would have been totally weird. Unless the way that he would have ended it was that Ichigo didn't permanently lose them, rather he just was slowly gaining them back. That could have worked.
It could have worked that way too.
Well, let's see. Well, there are, at the moment, 3 sort of endings you can have to Bleach. Let's see, the end of the Aranka arc, the Fullbring arc, and the Blood War. Though, granted, we might now get a sort of 4th ending, given the fact that Bleach is returning. But anyway.
It's only... is it returning? I thought it was just the anime to finish up the Blood War.
Well,
I take it you've not read the one-shot, then, I take it.
Oh, well then, no.
Okay, then.
I wanted to get into it.
I won't say anything about the one-shot, but it's
hinting at a return?
Yeah, it's hinting at a return. I'll say that.
Oh, shit.
But I'll say this. I know we're going off topic here, but I think, and because of how Kubo handled Burn the Witch, I could see it to where he does this new story at his own pace and not be met with deadlines and whatnot.
Oh, you think you'd be doing it like Dragon Ball Super, where it's a monthly instead of a weekly, like it used to be?
Probably.
But anyway,
well, that would make sense if the one shot was like 72 pages.
That's it. But anyway, I suppose we should probably get back to the chapter where you see let's see, discussion. But anyway,
hey, we're discussing within the discussion.
Yeah,
there's some bleachness. No, okay. I mean it's good to know that it's not just strictly Naruto driven, like everyone wanted to think. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about My Hero Academia. It seems to pull from all its predecessors.
Well, to be fair, let's see, the big 3 were the inspiration for an entire generation of mangakas.
I mean, I'm trying to think.
Well, the original big 3 were what? Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Sailor Moon?
Dragon Ball, if we're going jump-wise, it was Dragon Ball, Kenshin, and Yu Yu Hakusho. Those are the big 3 at the time. Which... I'm trying to see if there is any Yu Yu Hakusho inspiration in My Hero, because I haven't seen anything yet per se from that.
If it was anything, it'd be Hunter x Hunter, because that's more recent. But I wouldn't know. I mean, I knew Yu Yu Hakusho like the back of my hand. I'm told good things about Hunter x Hunter, but I never got into Hunter x Hunter. So,
and it's on hiatus.
Well, of course it's always on hiatus. The guy was it's amazing that the guy even finished Yu Yu Hakusho.
To be fair, he rushed the ending of Yu Yu Hakusho.
Well,
sure he did.
You can make the argument and say, well, at least with Yu Yu Hakusho, the guy was in his
a little healthier somehow, younger. I was younger in my heyday. Why would you start a manga if you knew you weren't going to be able to finish it?
Yeah, I mean,
outside of unforeseen death.
Well, okay. If anybody's curious about the current Hunter x Hunter hiatus chart, let's just say it's been 1,090 days since the last chapter of Hunter x Hunter came out. So 2018. So yeah.
Honestly, you should just hire an artist at this point.
Just write your notes down and just hand it to someone. Jesus, what is so hard about this?
I would just say this: just write everything down and then give it to Madhouse, since they're the ones that did the anime remake. Just do that.
Granted,
just have the anime be the official finisher.
My understanding, Japan does not really is not really keen on the idea of. Let's see, having one
manga being it,
and then have another writer replace a particular work, compared to like USA with their comics and all that stuff, which is more acceptable there, but not really so in Japan.
How do you explain Boruto then?
No, granted, from what I've been told, let's see, for
Has
Boruto,
it really changed?
Well, from my understanding, apparently there are reports that Kishimoto came back as like the writer and replaced the guy who was originally doing it, who was like the original, who did some novels with Gaara and for the Naruto project. But I'm told that, I think I saw on Twitter from someone that it's not necessarily Kishimoto himself that's back, but more of the just going with his original notes or something.
That's what I thought it was. I didn't think he was back writing it. I thought he was just kind of back to supervise, where originally he wasn't even doing that.
Let's see. So,
here, do this.
So there seems to be some sort of mistranslation with some mistranslation initially when it came to the announcement, really. Which, to be fair,
mistranslation or misinformation.
Yeah, I also probably
something lost in translation.
Yeah, lost in translation. Lost in translation.
Lost in translation, yeah.
In fact, that which I feel kind of somewhat guilty now, since for like the last few times I discussed Boruto with Luckchi and others, it was talking about how Kishimoto had taken over Ritzy Boruto.
Well, I'm gonna say this might lead to a viable theory that he might be working at his next story.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Granted, from what I would say, but granted, I will admit, with the way Boruto has been written in these last few chapters, it's like, even I can, even Kishimoto at his worst never wrote this badly. But anyway.
How this series keeps going on, I don't know. Nothing about it's ever been good, but it keeps somehow plugging away, so.
My understanding, the anime for Boruto is in a safe slot where there's no competition, so that's why the anime is going on. Now, for why the manga is going on, I believe it's been moved to V-Jump, which is like all the video game and spin-off things, like where Super Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, all that stuff goes there.
They keep trying to promote the shit out of it. No one gives a damn about it.
And apparently no manga, and I'm not sure I can confirm this rumor, but apparently no manga gets cancelled in V-Jump.
Of course not. But it just seems hilarious that it gets like literally it gets all the marketing, but it gets like no like significant revenue in this case. So
yeah,
maybe
that's. So I don't know. It's just weird as shit to me that it would still keep going on and on and on, just for everyone to keep hating on it. But whatever.
For my best guessing when it comes to Boruto, it's it's too despised to make the income of Naruto in its prime and heyday, but it's not but it's got enough viewership to keep it going as like a sort of like.
Well, it would make sense that it's in a safe spot, considering it seems like a lot of kid-friendly shows pay homage to it or something. So, yeah, it is what it is.
It's in many ways you could say it's just a studio and editors, just refusing to let this franchise die, despite how much they've beaten it to a dead horse, if you will.
Well, they're trying to live on the glory days of the old one, and no one really wants to know about that at this point. They just want to, if they're going to relive the glory days, just literally go back and reread or rewatch.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all you need to do. You just need to watch Naruto, and that's it. That's all you need to do, guys. Nothing else beyond that you have to do. There is nothing beyond
that. Anyway, besides that, let's see.
As for this, yeah, I guess by all accounts he wrote himself into a corner. So this is the ace in the hole to not write himself into a corner. Yeah. Which I guess makes some pretty good sense. I mean, it's not like... Is it still silly? Yes. Is it something that probably shouldn't have been done in the first place if you were a good writer? Probably yes. Well, sometimes we all have our moments where we think we're doing something correct and then realize, wait a minute, how do I get out of this?
Well, at the very least, Kohei seems to be competent enough to figure out, okay, how can I make this work without making it look too BS?
I mean, this whole New Order quirk is still kind of BS in a sense, but oh well.
Okay, let me rephrase it as...
No, you're right. You're right. I'm just saying that in terms of how crazy this quirk was, it's like, damn, how do you develop this quirk? How does anything of this quirk even make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least with One for All and All for One, they don't make sense, but you can at least say, well, you know, main hero, main villain.
Yeah.
Protagonist, antagonist. We're somehow something from somewhere.
Basically.
Yeah. We might be primordial quirks.
I mean, again, they said the first quirk manifested in China, and like we said, maybe All for One was a Chinese man. Maybe.
Who knows? Well, I thought the first quirk was a kid turning bright color, shining brightly.
Was it?
Yeah. At least that's how the opening goes.
Yeah, it was born in China.
Oh, that's what they ultimately did say, born in China?
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I guess I didn't read the fine print on that one. Doesn't matter.
The fine print within the fine print.
Yeah, fine print. Anyway, at least you can kind of write those two off as being, you know, it's just going to happen. It's the natural order of protagonist, antagonist. With this one, it's just like, okay, we're introducing this insanely powerful quirk, probably just so I can write myself out of a corner.
Basically.
Fair enough, but yeah. But anyway, speaking of writing himself out of the corner, one of the quirks that we know of that at least has been destroyed due to like New Order's interference inside this is that apparently All for One's Reflect has been Reflect quirk has been destroyed as a result of Stars and Stripes is like effect. And I do like how we get visual interpretation of it, where you see like a monstrous like Stars and Stripes inside All for One ripping and biting him and all that stuff as we see those quirks go. Now, from sorry, go on.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, the only thing it looked like that wasn't going to get destroyed based on just how he's surviving this is his regeneration. Somehow still going to survive this, probably.
There's going to be some factor in this that's going to showcase him being alive and whatnot.
Well, yeah, regeneration was going to always survive. It's the only thing about him other than his decay that outright defies him, so... Interesting to see going forward what quirks got destroyed. Obviously, the Reflect, because I don't even know if that would have made any big difference in a...
Well, at the very least, let's see, we don't have to worry about Midoriya's punches being Reflect when every time he tries to punch, you know, All for One and Shigaraki.
Although, if you're acquainted with the movie...
Oh yeah,
guys, if you haven't seen World Heroes Mission yet, well, that's on you.
Yeah, right.
but yeah, but yeah. But anyway, I do like in like her final moments, she thinks back to like of when All Might saved her and the time he spent with her, and how it inspired her dream. I do like how
Pretty nice.
let's see, and I do like how she's able to give her like a soldier salute while smiling as she's decaying. In a sense,
That has to be the most painful way to die, just slowly evaporating.
Probably is.
But the dust in the wind.
Unless this is Infinity War, where you just instantly
Yeah, right.
evaporate.
I was about to make the comparison too.
Yeah. Unless this is Infinity War, just to kind of like turn to dust without feeling any type of pain.
Just
other than just not feeling good. I don't feel so good. Don't do this to me, Mr. Stark. I don't feel so good.
Blue Star's arguably favorite moment.
No, my favorite moment in Infinity War is probably Thor arriving in Wakanda.
But you're a Spider-Man fan. I'm joking.
Oh, no.
Hear that, guys? Blue's not a true Spider-Man fan.
So hopefully our fears of a bittersweet ending are just our fears, because going forward, I think a lot more of us are probably going to be thinking that, ooh, damn, is this going to be a bittersweet ending?
But first of all, Luckchi, how dare you question my Spider-Man fanboyism?
Of course, it's my job.
We got some good movie coming out in December.
I know. A movie that, for the most part, wants to be secretive about something, but obviously is not that secretive.
Is doing pretty terrible at its job, considering we have a lot of spoilers, but, you know.
Well, that's the internet for you these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have no idea how or where they're getting them.
I'll say this. If this was early 2000s, probably would have gotten away with it, but...
Best kept secret.
You're right.
That's maybe even early 2010s, as no one saw Disney buying Lucasfilm.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe early 2010s.
I mean, I remember Movie Bob doing a video about how the head of the FBI at the time could not keep his wife's location a secret, but somehow Disney was able to keep buying Star Wars a secret for an entire year.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you wonder that the secrecy, how tight the secrecy of Disney was and security of Disney was back then.
Yeah.
Wait, I got the perfect bittersweet ending.
What's that?
Deku loses, so you sacrifice all for one and one for all, and somehow that's able to get Deku to manifest his own quirk. No, I don't think that's... Actually, stranger things have happened, but...
I don't know.
It's like, well, he still has power, technically. It's just not the power he has now, so it's...
But yeah.
Who knows?
But yeah, besides let's see the final salute from Stars and Stripes to her comrades, and I do like the one pilot's look in his eyes, he's seeing her fade away and all that stuff. I do like how we get All For One going like, "Curse you, Spectre of All Might!" As well, when it goes to show with either with Shigaraki or All For One, no matter let's see who it is or who they're facing in the world, it always comes back to All Might and how much it annoys them.
Well, someone has to pull an ace. Mm-hmm. And I won't say why, but if you haven't seen One Piece, shame on you.
Oh, damn.
Oh, I guess that means Luckchi shaming on you, Mangareader.
No, he knows. Mangareader knows.
Shaming me. I mean, I've kept up with One Piece for a couple times there. I'm not up to date now, but you know,
okay.
It's a good series. It is a good series.
Truth be told, I'm not up to date on One Piece either. I only read up to 1,000 and I just paused.
Oh,
So.
yeah, lucky you. You're at 1,000. I'm probably at like 400 or something.
And then there's Blue, who's like, why aren't you?
He's up to date, so
Yeah.
Blue knew what to focus on in all this time. So congrats, Blue. You did something.
Well, I also review the chapters as well, so there's that. But yeah.
Yeah, you have no choice. This is your life that you have chosen. So good job.
Yeah.
Lucky me, I only focus in on podcasts for that. So I come and go with it.
Well, it's something that will at least probably keep me at least occupied for the next 5 years or something.
Unless One Piece is a shitty ending.
You got 20 more years ahead of you.
Well, at least keeps me busy. Let's see. Given the fact that My Hero Academia is on its final act and all that stuff, but yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of. It's not just My Hero though. Like even what other series are ending?
Dr. Stone.
Yeah, Dr. Stone's on its final arc too, and I think Jujutsu Kaisen's like got 1 or 2 years left, so even that's gonna be ending also.
Let's see. A lot of mangas these days are ending in 5 years.
I mean, hey, if it ends on the author's own accord, then I say go for it.
Fair enough, but anyway,
After all, you don't want to milk a series dry. I mean, look at what happened to
Naruto. Overall, but yeah. So overall, my thoughts in this chapter are, while I probably would have, figured like, okay, probably the safest bet for Koei would be to like,
you were too relying on that. I'll say that.
It's like to have it be in some sort of stalemate, but clearly he shows a winner, and it ends up being Shigaraki / All for One. But he manages to surprise everyone, I guess, or manages to at least perhaps maybe lessen the blow with some of the backlash with how. He has, Stars and Stripes use her own quirk in a self-sacrificial manner to damage Shigaraki and All for One, even if it what
Blue's trying to say is he can't believe that he was wrong and I was right about it again.
I never said that, Lucky Chi.
I said a lot of things.
I never said you were going to be wrong, Lucky Chi. I'm just saying that this is a possible outcome that Koei could do to address your concerns. But it seems like
everyone else's concerns.
My concerns were concerned.
Right?
Anyway, but it seems like you've managed to find a way. Like, okay, let's see. I do this one ending. I've done this outcome, but I found a way to make it to soften like some of the blow, and also weaken the villains somewhat a bit. So make it so it's like to make it a self-sacrifice that's not in vain and all that stuff. So there's that. Granted, I will admit. Let's see. We have seen some of that backlash, and some have accused Koei have been disliking America. Due to it or something, because the American hero's now dead. But though, granted, which I find a bit odd, since My Hero Academia is clearly, besides maybe the big three, inspired by superhero comics from America, particularly Marvel. So, I don't know, I think that's just some people just being a bit frustrated that, the world's strongest hero that's also, is also a female character, is also a woman, and also American, just end up, losing and dying. So, yeah. Granted, I do kind of wish we got to spend a bit more time with Stars and Stripes. At least the volume's worth, probably, but yeah. Or at least perhaps maybe Koei could have at least added a bit, given more signs of hints of this character existing.
I'll say, okay, here's my take, and I know this is something a lot of people have been theorizing for a while now, but I do have to wonder if Koei's run is kind of losing interest in, not necessarily in the story of My Hero, but just doing the chapters every week. I wonder if that's what's been happening with them, because like in terms of the story, yeah, like I think what's been happening since the Paranormal War, like it makes sense, but the pattern I'm noticing a little bit more now, where I'm like, okay, it's going a little too fast, just a little.
Well,
I don't know if you feel that way, Mangareader, but that's something I've seen go around within the My Hero community.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't really keep up with fans in terms of My Hero, so whenever I see anything theorized, it's usually on comment sections after an actual chapter or two. But beyond that, I kind of just keep to myself on my thoughts of My Hero Academia. Other than this cast, so I would take your word for it if that were the case.
Well, to be fair, I can probably see why some might think that because, let's see, he's nearly gone for like a decade, 7 years coming to 8, so... And we have seen signs of mangakas who've had work go on for over a decade. Let's see, have a decline in work and enthusiasm for their projects.
I mean, look at Naruto.
Well, that's probably like the best example we can think of. Of course, we've also got other
Bleach could be a case too, maybe. I say maybe.
And to an extent, you could also maybe argue Fairy Tail.
Well, yeah, Fairy Tail's another good example too.
No, granted, that's not. No, granted, those that still keep dedicated and passionate to their work of trying to do the best story they can with like Oda with One Piece. So there's also that. But who knows? But I guess it's just more of just. Although it could also just be fan bases, expectations, and all that stuff. But yeah. Not to mention, My Hero Academia's community has become so big over the last 7 years, I believe.
Well, I'll say this: ever since My Hero got the anime, it hasn't been the best place, to say the least, when it comes to
a fan base.
Yeah, fan base. Like, okay, it's no, maybe you could call it this gen's Naruto fan base. Maybe you could call it that. Maybe.
I thought you would refer to Attack on Titan as that.
Well, AOT's in its own league. And that's a whole other can of worms that I don't want to delve into.
But yeah. Overall, I will admit, let's see. Anyway, I will admit, I do see. So, yeah, back to my overall thoughts. Well, it's not the outcome. Let's see. It ended up being the outcome that Luckchi was predicting somewhat, but I do like how Koei was able to, like, subvert. Let's see, do a few surprises there. Let's see. Granted, I wish we got a bit more time of Stars and Stripes, and let's see, just before like her death and all that stuff. But I do like some of those panels of let's see, of her and All Might. Learning a bit more about All for One's plans, about what he initially intended to do when dealing with like New Order, and let's see, One for All and all that stuff, and also learning some of the limitations of of his own quirk and all that stuff. So overall, I think I'll give this chapter maybe an 8 to 8.5 out of 10. Let's see. Oh, you think that's a bit generous?
No, I think. I don't know. I'm thinking now. For going by my own rating scale, because I don't do number ratings anymore. But if it were me, I'd say around a good plus. So like a 7.5, maybe 8. But the 8 is like stretching. So I think maybe like a 7.5 for me.
Fair enough.
8's about it. Yeah, I would say for me 8, 7. 7.5 is a little disingenuous, but I think 8's okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, it may not be necessarily the conclusion we all wanted with this fight and for this character, but let's see. But there are some like surprises that make up for it and all that stuff. So yeah. So thank you for both joining me, Mangareader and Luckchi, and Let's see. So I'm looking forward to let's see. So just one. Let's see. The only thing that I say before we go is let's see this one question. So now that this fight is concluded, do you think? Let's see. Given the given the unofficial chapter that came out, let's see, today, though granted not until Sunday. Do you think that this fight is just wrapping up like this sort of mini arc, if you will, or do you think there's more to it?
I think we're done. I think. And I mean, if we're being realistic here, when did this arc start? 329? Yeah, so what's it been? 5 chapters?
Yes.
That's actually pretty short now that I think about it, especially when it comes to hero arcs, yeah. Actually, we might have had a short arc like this. Let me double check.
We did once when Bakugo and Shota were going to like their provisional license course, makeup exams, and all that stuff.
Well, no. We've had that, and we also had it during the beginning saga too, with the entrance exam, the quirk apparition test, and then the battle trial. So it's not the first time Koei's done it, but it's been like a super long time since we've had little arcs like this.
Yeah, and normally he does. Normally the short arcs are usually like at least 10 chapters, at least a volume's worth. So
I mean, okay, even the remedial course technically was like only 6 chapters, so this is even shorter than that. Technically, by a chapter, but.
So yeah, it appears to be a very short arc, but I guess we'll see how it goes. But yeah. Anyway, thank you both for joining me, and I hope you'll both be able to perhaps join me for the next one, though that's probably to discuss after stream.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm Blue Star Saber.
I'm Mangareader.
I'm Luckchi7.
And we are signing off. Goodbye, everyone. Plus Ultra.
Plus Ultra.
And with that note, we are done.
All right, guys, I gotta go.